So for those that are watching, this is our first episode. We don't have a name for this podcast. It's just a couple guys just talking about business, random shit, and we hope that what we talk about is going to be entertaining for you because we know we're fucking entertaining. So
Well, we think that, so hopefully we are, but so yeah, I mean, let's give us some intros. I'm Zohaib. I met this guy, Khaliq, over on a CS call, right? So it was he was trying to retain our business at Uncork, and I was like, yo, this product sucks, but this guy is pretty cute. So then we ended up kicking it off. We had a little fling. Our wives weren't too happy about it, but then we calmed ourselves down and decided, hey,
yeah,
maybe a podcast might be a good way to you know keep talking.
I love it, love it. Funny, I guess on my end was like when I met you, it was it's like oftentimes there's like brown people that like hesitate to want to connect with other brown people. They're just like, oh man, I don't care about that person. Like, even though you're the exact same type of person, you're the same culture, you just kind of hesitate. You think you're cool, but like the fact that you reached out to me about like potentially doing a business together and like we connected even on that call where you're like, are you from Pakistan? And I was like, this guy's a brother for real. So um, after that, we started talking, and then we realized like we're a lot in common, but living in different worlds. I'm in Canada, but was in Canada, now in Spain, working here for the month. But yeah, it's been nice. Our friendship, we're like pen pals, but
Yeah,
um,
literally like
you know,
Spanish. You're my Spanish pen pal, bro. Like literally, the thing that we had in freaking elementary or middle school, you know. But no, seriously, like that's a huge thing in like the Desi community, really, is that, everyone's got this like, as long as I'm better than this other person, I'm on top. But my mentality's always been different. It's kind of just like how um you know just percentages in general work, right? Like you can
yeah,
own 10% of a company, but if or 100%, right? But if your company at 100% is only worth 1 million, but when you have 10% and your company is worth 10 billion because of all these other people you've included, you're still netting with 10x more than you originally did, right? Because 100% of 1 million is just 1 million, right?
yeah.
But 10% of 10 billion is 10 million. So, or hopefully I got that math right.
We
Probably
don't do
not.
public math out here.
Yeah, no, I'm embarrassed. But basically,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's the
I get it.
philosophy. And for me, it's like, yo, we gotta grow together, man. So that's why I was like, yo, let's connect, because you had a pretty chill vibe, and we're both Punjabi, and I don't know, man. I don't want to stereotype, but I feel like Punjabis definitely don't care as much about the whole. They like to flex, they like to party, they like to do all those
Yeah,
things, but they like to do it and have fun. And to me, it's like life is about having fun while you're doing all these like hard things, you gotta enjoy every moment. And that's why I was like, yo, let me hit this guy up and slide into his DMs on
yeah. And I
LinkedIn.
think that like that's what I really admire a lot about you, man, because like you treat life so nonchalant, but like I know you're not. You're very intentional, but at the same time, you have this like nonchalant, chill vibe about you, which it really makes and you're very vulnerable, if that makes sense. It's like it makes it easier for somebody to open up and like that helps build relationships like tenfold. And like that's like my any advice I'd give is be as vulnerable as possible, people, because people will reciprocate, right? And that's how you ultimately make friendships. Like you don't want to think about relationships as a transaction. You always want to have see if where can we actually take that. Like you have to think in your mind, like if I spend if you take that extra step to really get to know that person, you never know what's going to come out of it. But if you avoid it after that first chat, you avoid it, then you're just living in your comfort zone, and that's like a place we never want to be in.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure. Like that's one thing that I've actually noticed is like in the corporate, framework, right? A lot of people, forget who they are and how they speak and how they interact with people outside of work, and they'll put this facade up, right? Like this wall up where they're acting all corporate and stuff. But at the end of the day, like a lot of these people, like especially with the whole COVID situation for the past 2 years and or past 3 years, it's
yeah,
like what people are looking for is that human interaction. I mean, like if you're genuine, I really feel like you will move up within your company. And I've heard that for me, like, dude, I throw out the weirdest words like lit, swag, like
but
let's get this money, and I'm throwing out weird sus emojis like in my company chat. And
and
I haven't
LinkedIn.
gotten fired. I haven't got fired yet. And I'm not saying to go do that and go get fired, but I'm saying like, you know, be yourself, and honestly, it'll work. Like you were yourself. Like we talked the first time and you were making jokes. Like we didn't even talk business, bro. And I'd
I
never met
know.
you. And this was like we were about to churn from your company, like Uberflip. Yeah. We're just
Yeah,
like, yo, we're gonna leave. But like you just decided, hey, I'm gonna make this conversation fun and not even about this. And that's what attracted me to, talk to you more. Cause I was like, bro, like this guy gets it. He knew like, okay, to save this sale, you may not even have been thinking about saving the sale, but
I
you were
wasn't.
like, yo, like I want to just talk and see what's going on and see what's up with their lives. Cause maybe this guy just had a bad day, right? Like, I don't know, like got a Starbucks order way too late or something and he's pissed off. Um,
You
and
never
you,
know, man.
yeah, and you like went in and you were talking and talking and talking about other stuff outside of the situation. And then we looped back and then it was like, nah, I kind of want to stay with Uberflip because I like talking to this guy. So like like
Yeah,
that takes you so far. People don't realize that in especially with interviews, right? Like
they don't.
my wife when she first started, interviewing for like, marketing jobs or tech jobs or whatever, like at first she
Yeah,
was like all prim and proper, wearing suit and all that. That was my first interview too at Oracle. Like I wore a suit and the people were like, "What the hell are you doing? You don't need to wear a suit for this." Like that was the first thing the interview said, and I was happy he said that because it helped me disengage like that like wall I had. It helped me like move away from it, and it was like, all right,
it's weird.
I could be more chill.
Yeah, I guess it depends. Like, so people coming out of business school, going to like a Bain or any BCG or accounting firms, it's like that same traditional mindset, right? In the same culture, wear the same suits, all that. Um, I was working at a telecom company called Bell in Canada, and like, yeah, you had to wear a suit all the time. Yeah, but like the people I was working with were like 20, 30 years into the business. They've been doing that for years. So they had the kind of old OG mindset, you know? So, but
Yeah,
all
but
right.
the OG mindsets are gonna go and die soon. Like not literally die, but I'm saying like everything is
Yeah.
moving away from that now. It's like it's the Gen Z, movement now. And young millennials. It's not even like the later
Yeah.
year millennials, right? Like we don't care about the 80s kids anymore. We barely care about the early 90s kids. It's like late 90s, early 2000s now because the creativity level of this generation right now is so high. I mean, just look at the content being produced on TikTok, look at the content being
Crazy.
produced on Instagram, and you know, um, it's nuts.
Yeah, it's like, it's like what YouTube was, and it still is like it's a that the whole concept of like the creator economy, it's real, man. Like people are building massive businesses, getting brand deals off of like 1,000 or 5 to 10,000 followers on TikTok. Like it's crazy what you could do with just short amount of content on TikTok. Like I don't know, have you been using TikTok quite often?
I was for a few weeks. I have to get back into it. I got into like, I have a kid on the way, so I've been focusing on that
Yeah.
stuff. Literally last month, but maybe I'll make some TikToks off of this content, right? We could shorten it,
There you go.
make
Slice and
make a
dice
little
this.
slice and
Yeah, we
dice.
can.
Yeah, it's easy content, and hopefully it's informative. But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that's the cool part about making content is like you can regurgitate the same videos across multiple different platforms. And I know it's going to sound like Gary Vee, like, oh, you can make a lot of content. You have to make content, guys. But like,
It's
you
all
have
about
to.
fucking
Like,
content.
yeah, it works though. The content works. Like people watch it. I mean, like, no, I learned so much about buying a house, right? The house buying process from TikTok, construction stuff. Like, I was working with like plumbers and all that stuff. I learned it from TikTok. I didn't learn it from freaking reading an article or shadowing someone. I
Yeah.
learned it because I was scrolling and they knew based on their algorithm that, hey, this guy is getting his bathroom redone or something. So they started giving me all this relevant content. I'm like, this is creepy as shit, but very relevant, and I needed
It
it at that moment.
is.
So I
I
asked the
remember.
right questions, and I
Yeah.
negotiated, and I feel like I didn't get scammed. Hopefully I didn't, but if I did, whatever, kudos to that guy. But it was helpful. Like TikTok was helpful.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think when you download the app, it's like for me, like the first time I downloaded the app, it was literally just girls like literally almost friggin' butt naked, just fucking twerking, dancing and
Yeah,
shit.
they're
Every
like
time, like
15-year-old girls, bro, and I felt like a
I
creep. I
know.
agree. That's why I
And like
left.
I'd be like scrolling through it, and like my wife would just walk by, and I'm like kind of like hesitant to show my phone, I'm like hiding it and shit in the corner.
TikTok's algorithm was literally like, all right, this brown boy is 27, 28, probably had an infatuation for white girls back in high school, like blah blah blah. So that it just regurgitates all that. Like it's just like white girls twerking. And I'm like, I don't want to see this anymore. I quit and then I came back because I saw like a
Dude.
lot of my coworkers and stuff. They're literally like, getting jobs off TikTok now. It's nuts. Like I have
Oh,
a sales
really?
guy, yeah, a sales guy named Keegan, and he like flips houses on Airbnb and stuff. And he actually found, so one of our execs found him on TikTok and then said, "Yo, like you should come work here." I checked out your LinkedIn, and I'm like, "Damn, son, like the power of TikTok like got him a job." And he's a little bit
Wow.
younger than us. He's 24, so he's in that like Gen Z millennial like cutoff, and that's what I was saying. Like that generation thinks in this whole like creative like abstract mindset, where
Yeah.
it's let's do stuff unconventionally, whereas people a little bit older than us, they're like, this is what we were taught in school, this is the status quo, we got to follow it. But like companies are not working like that because they're not growing like that anymore. It's been saturated. Following the status quo has been saturated now. Every company is looking for that, new innovative thing because everyone has short attention spans now.
They do, and like I don't think it's trickled into B2B yet. B2C it works well. Like TikTok's blowing up, but B2B is just like I work with marketers every day, and it's like they follow the same process. They want to know what everybody else is doing, and everybody's following that same shithole B2B conversion funnel process. They don't realize the like people don't experiment, and that's what I've seen in my experience. People don't take risks even though they get a shit ton of budget to do so. So I try to preach it to my clients, but
Yeah,
it's very hard to change people, man.
I know, I
um
know, I know. It's nuts, man. Like, can't really force someone. You can't take a horse to water and force it to drink, right? But yo, Khalik, tell us about your
I didn't
travel
know what the fuck you meant with that.
I don't know what I was saying, bro. But like tell us about your travel experience, bro, cuz like you just uprooted yourself from freaking Canada and you were just like, "Zohaib, I'm not like I was trying to recruit you and you were like, "Oh no, I don't know, I might be going to Europe." Then you actually did it. How was that experience so far? You're in Spain right now. Would love to learn about, what caused you to go there and then also what you've been doing there so far.
Yeah, so just to give you guys context, so I don't know if you, so for the Canadian listeners out there, if you're between 18 and 30, you can Canada, UK, and I believe Australia have this like Commonwealth visa where you can live and work in those countries for up to 2 years. So this was like last year, October, where um, I just connected with somebody abroad that I'd worked with in another company, and she had told me about this. So then I go to my wife and I'm like, yo, we gotta fucking do this before we have kids. Like, let's look into it. So that same week we start talking about it, and my wife's like totally bought in. And we're like, fuck it. All right. So we talked to our landlord. We gave our notice, 2 month notice. We're like, we're gonna get the fuck out of this apartment. And then it was around like January's time frame or close to end of Jan where we decided, okay, I started looking for roles out there. So because I worked at Uber Flip, we were a partner with this company called Six Sense, which I'm working at now. They reached out to me on LinkedIn. I started the interview process, and then fast forward from February all the way to March 14th, we landed in the UK. So it's been honestly like it's been I personally haven't traveled that much in my life. So I've gone to Pakistan like a ton of times and like Turkey, and that's literally all I've
Yeah, the
I've traveled.
basic brown boy package,
Yeah. So
travel
all my
package.
friends happen to just want to go to Pakistan and get married to girls there and then bring them back to Canada. So I had a lot of
Nothing
weddings
wrong
to
with
attend
that.
there.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. And I'm actually going to Pakistan again in December for another friend's wedding, doing the exact same thing. So, um, but it's been good. I mean, the so what we did when we moved to the UK was we lived in a rental apartment where they have like a community aspect to it. So it's not just you're living in an apartment, a flat, that's all. Like there's actually they host events for you to connect with other people in that building. So its company's called Vonder. Oh, I don't want to go into like the shit show of what it is, but it's it was so cool for us to have met so many great people from different parts of the world living there. Everybody who has like different like stages of their lives, still figuring out like where do they want to be in their lives. But um, it was just honestly everybody uniquely was so different, but they all had very great values, and like that's what like me and my wife really appreciated in that those 3 months we lived there. But after 3 months, we decided, okay, like we don't have an office for Six Sense, and we're only here for 2 years. So we decided, okay, let's travel every other country we can as much as we can until Six Sense opens up an office. So that's what we did. So last month of July, we moved to Lisbon, Portugal, which we stayed there for the month, and then now fast forward here to August, we're now in Sevilla, Spain.
Hmm.
So it's been awesome, man. Seeing
So
new countries.
how are you like finding the like dwellings, the places to live? Are you using Airbnb or is there some sort of other company that you're using to book these like places to sleep and stuff?
Yeah, so we use Airbnb. So we try to book it as far in advance because if you book like a week or two in advance, and you're going to be paying a ton of money for your spot. And we're basically our criteria is this: the area has to be near. If the apartment is small, then we need to be near a co-working space because I need as much stability as possible. And the same thing, I need a gym near me. So that's how we select. We select places on how close it is to the center because in our evenings we'll typically take walks and we'll explore. It needs to be near a co-working space, and then it also needs to be near like a gym. So that's how we think about every place we stay is I want to have as much stability as possible and make it seem like I'm home. So yesterday we went and we got a gym membership. So that's set. That's literally like across the street from our current place. Um, and we're not too far. We're like in a really nice area called Triana and in Sevilla. And then basically this is our first week here. So like this weekend we're going to be exploring more of the city and things like that.
Nice, nice. So what's your favorite meal that you've had so far out of the different countries you've been in?
Oh man, to be honest, nothing has. Nothing beats desi food, man. Nothing beats desi food.
I agree.
Like, yeah, it's like I wouldn't even be able to tell you what's my favorite, man. Like, we literally 2 weeks ago we went to this like Nepalese restaurant that has the best friggin' butter chicken, and like it was so good, and we ended up just freaking constantly ordering from that same place versus like any other place we went to. They are like I never really experienced fine dining to be honest in Toronto and Canada much. So we did try that here. It was good. It's just man, I'm such a big foodie, bro.
Yeah,
Like I
you
need
like the
quantity,
spices,
man.
bro. I know.
I
You
like
like the
this, you know?
spices. You want to eat it at a sticky, dirty table. Like, I know. I'm the
Yeah,
same way.
yeah,
Like, I don't care about you know, the spectacle, so to speak, right? I don't need all
yeah.
that shebang. I just need the food. And literally that's how me and my wife are. We will go to like some fine dining places. Like we've been to some Michelin star restaurants and stuff like that, but we eat
Oh,
like
nice.
freaking we eat like we're eating at like a freaking diner, like or like
Yeah.
kebab king or something, and
Yeah.
like and I just feel uncivilized. Like I got food like sauce all over my
I
face,
know.
man. Like
The
so,
chutney and the
yeah,
raita all
bro.
over your beard.
So that's just how it is. So I know the word okat. I know my okat, bro. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like so that's why I'm just like, you know what? I don't need to spend all this money on fine dining anymore. So
Yeah.
that's it. So
Yeah.
bro, but that's awesome, man. It's such a huge risk, to just get up and go, right?
Oh, tell me about it, man.
It's yeah,
Luckily, I
so
don't have like well, I have a mortgage, but like my tenant, so far, so good. Finger knock on wood, he's been paying rent on time. If he doesn't pay rent, then I'm probably screwed.
yeah. No.
We'll have to get the hell out and figure out financially what the
No.
hell we do next.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe I'll rent it, bro. I want to experience a Canadian summer.
all right, all
I've
right.
never experienced Canada more than like a week. So,
All right.
um,
Down.
yeah,
I'll
I
hold down
just
for you.
I kind of did the same thing, right, with the house stuff. So, just for context for everyone here or whoever ends up listening to this thing, um, I just got a house, or I put an offer down for a house, got accepted. Now I'm just finishing up the closing process, so they're just doing the appraisal now, and hopefully from there, inshallah everything is good. But basically, I never went to Dallas ever in my life. I
Oh,
just bought
really?
I just bought a house, bro. Like I was like YOLO. Because I realized that, like similar to you, like this is the same thing. Like you won't do it because you won't do something because it feels too uncomfortable just thinking about it. But when you're
Yeah.
actually there and doing it, you're like, this wasn't that bad at all. And that's how I'm going with this too. It's like I am saving up for what? Am I gonna stay at my parents' house forever? It's not a bad thing, but like my parents didn't move to this country for me to just coast. I
Yeah.
need to feel uncomfortable. It forces me to explore things in myself and push myself to another level. Like you and your wife,
Love it.
you guys are literally going backpacking country to country, seeing and experiencing so many different things. You're gonna come back like to Canada knowing all this like amazing stuff, sounding like a freaking scholar, bro. Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, and in Lisbon, this is the most popular blah 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 and blah blah blah,
In
and
the
you're just gonna
19th,
know shit.
in the 1700s, Lisbon went through a huge revolution.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking
But
National Geographic.
those are things you're not gonna ever understand uh just by reading a book, but and that's the same thing with like, this situation is like I was like, I'm never gonna know how to own a house or do anything if I don't own a house. And Long Island, like New York, was not affordable. So then I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just buy a house in Dallas, and if it doesn't work out, I'll just move back to my parents' house and put it up for rent, right?
100%.
Like if I have the money to do it, then do it. And that's what I give that advice to everyone. If you have the money to do it, like why are you hoarding cash, bro? Why are you gonna hoard cash? What is the point? Especially if
100%.
it's in your bank account, bro. Like that's when I don't understand it. I have friends that literally just get their paychecks won't even tip, bro. Won't even don't even go out to eat. They don't tip. They don't do anything, bro. They
Yeah.
just have that cash in their bank for what? You're not even investing it. You're not even doing anything with it. Then why do you
What's
need it?
what's like their hesitation?
What's your end? Yeah, what's your hesitation? What's your end goal, bro? Like, that's what I say. Like, yo, uh, one, and this is like a religious concept. Like, miserliness is a sin, bro. Like, miserliness means you're hoarding wealth.
Yeah.
Why are you hoarding it? You don't need to hoard it. Go spend. Like, no one told you not to go buy that Lambo if you can afford it. Like, if you can afford a Lambo, go buy it because that Lambo causes a lot of people to get jobs. Yeah, you're flexing, but like you're increasing the economy. You need to. And that's the same thing with like, buy a house. Just do it. If you have it and the opportunity's there and the house is good, like you're gonna just wait or like going on that trip, which is what you did. You're experiencing something that like people would like kill for. But since you have the opportunity to do it, why not?
Yeah.
Why not
Yeah,
now?
no.
Like, what are you doing now
Exactly.
that's like so important that you can't do that thing that you wanted to do and you keep dreaming about doing?
100%. Like I'll watch YouTube videos of people like let's say travel vloggers, right? And like these people have kids. Like they're traveling with their kids. There's no excuse at any point in your life where you can make a move like this. And like even looking at a house purchase, like that's amazing that you did that. And like if any point you feel like a financial strain with your mortgage and so forth, you could always rent out rooms. You could rent out your basement. There's always things that you can do. And yeah, matter of fact, Airbnb is only growing from now. We've seen in the company like there's a huge opportunity with Airbnbs, and you just have there's so much opportunity to build passive income that there's no reason not to take advantage of it. You know,
Short-term rentals are making more money than long-term rentals in general. And that's if you don't even book all the nights in the month, bro. You can book
100%.
15 nights and still make more. And that's wild to me, right? So like get like the house, I strategically got it near the airport. So if
Oh,
worst
okay.
things comes to worst, right? Like if I'm like me and my wife are like, yo, you know what? Screw freaking Texas, screw Dallas. This sucks. Everything sucks here. The food is crap, and I miss my mommy. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
We'll just go back. I put that thing up for rent. If I can't put it up for rent, I'll put it up for Airbnb. If I can't put on Airbnb, then freaking sell that thing. Yeah, you'll take some
exactly.
some of the loss, but like, yo, it's real estate, bro. Like, it's not like, uh, people were selling broken houses just a year ago. Like,
I know.
you know what I mean? Like, it's it's not the end of the world. You're gonna survive.
Yeah,
You don't need to stress.
yeah, you don't. Let's um let's talk about your Facebook community that you built. Like, I feel like I was an OG and I started off when I think you invited me when you first built it. If not, maybe like the first like month or so. But every time I go on Facebook, I always do a little peek into the community because I know it's around New York. But why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about this community that you built and yeah, take it from there.
Yeah, for sure. So, I started a New York Muslim professional network, right? Because I'm Muslim, and there's always professional networks for people of different faiths all the time. It's just in New York for some reason, and I think it's mostly because of this. One reason actually is that like, you're getting a lot of immigrants coming here, people who haven't established their roots within the country, and it'll be mixed in with people who have. And then you have this like division, right? Where the people who have had experience and who have done stuff and all this yada yada, they're really cool with each other and they'll help each other grow.
Yeah,
Um, but what about all the people that just moved here, right? That's one. Two, what about all the people that just don't have the connections you do? And then three, for some reason, the immigrant, especially first generation, second generation Pakistanis, and this is what I've noticed with just my community. I'm not going to speak for others, but yo, we don't help each other. I don't know why. It's this like, and what we were talking about earlier, we alluded to it a bit, but it's like
yeah,
no one wants to show each other like, hey, yo, like this is a company that's hiring, I can refer you and get you through the door. Or hey, like I can read your resume really quick. Or hey, if you have any questions about pre-med, like I can answer. I'm a doctor, like I think they
100%.
do that in Silicon Valley and those other high income neighborhoods because they know like, yo, this is the only way our wealth grows together. But
Yep.
for the people here, it's still a my family versus that family. मेरा बेटा तो डॉक्टर है, आपका बेटा क्या करता है? And that's like the common phrase,
Exactly.
like, parents be comparing like, yo, like my kid is this, what about your kid? Why do you have to talk like that? We can rephrase that whole conversation. That's what I'm trying to do with this group. It's like, yo, I don't care if you make more money than me, I don't care if I make more money than you. But what I do care about is like, yo, if we grow together, we can build a basketball court within our masjid and be like, not have to move to Dallas, you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
or, like the more income we all have, the more, security we have as a people, the more influence we have in politics, the more, etc. And like people don't think in that long term because in Pakistan, that's not how it works, right? Like, you can't make it out, can't make it up. Like you're
Yeah.
if you're poor forever, and it's like 1% of those people like will make it out. But here, it's like, yo, you can make it out though. That's the craziest part. You can. But yo, you need to have the right connections. You have to
Yeah.
talk to the right people. Um, and that's why I
It's
started the
like,
group.
it's like this is like you building this community made me realize how shitty LinkedIn is when it comes to like really helping people. And this is obviously my own personal opinion, but like having smaller communities and having something like yourself moderating it, I've seen it be more effective in helping people than LinkedIn, where there's so much noise with LinkedIn, especially like nowadays, it's all about layoffs, layoffs, Shopify layoffs, like
Oh
literally
yeah.
every status, So like it, and that's kind of where I think, when we think about community building 101, what you've done is one, you've created a niche community. Obviously, there's a ton of Muslims, but you've niched it out by geography. And then two is that you've added value. You've always you're constantly posting, you're sharing tips, tricks to the community. And as a result, you start getting the people that generally are like what you call hiders or like just like passive um, viewers to now start to engage. And like look at like what's your numbers now on it?
Yeah,
Like
so
how
we
many members
have
do you have?
1,300 members now, and I was like kind of like
Crazy.
passively like, running this thing, like not really like uh I enabled some people in the community to be admins and invite their friends and stuff, and I guess people are finding value because people keep adding other people. So we've reached that point where people are now networking their friends into the group, and that's like the best place to be if you want to start scaling up. And there's other communities that have scaled up and started whole companies out of things like Facebook, like Clutch Points, for example, is a company, is a sports company that literally started out as Facebook group. They made Facebook groups
Wow.
for every single sports team, right? And they would just post, like polls, and people started answering the polls and then invited their friends, and then this guy named Nish Patel, like, scaled it out, and he's competing against Bleacher Report, right? And that's the same thing with this. I'm not trying to do that. That's not my intent, but we've reached that threshold where it's like people are now networking, posting, um, events from their companies, etc. So it's really cool, but obviously I want to see it grow even more where it's like I want to hear more success stories. Like
Exactly.
recently I found out that a kid networked and transitioned from a CS, not even a CS role, a support, product support, like a IT spec like guy, like you help desk
Yeah. Yeah.
role, and he's now PM, right? He
Really?
Yeah, bro, he went from that to a PM. How crazy is that? And then another
Good for
kid
him.
making 60K as a software developer on Long Island. He's now working for Twitter making 200. He bought his mom a Beamer. Like, within a year. Like it was a life change,
Wow.
bro. His whole, like, think about that. Long run, think about how much that butterfly effect is going to impact the rest of his family. Now he can connect other people within his cousins, his friend group into a company like that. That's one. Two, his kids now have a father that has connections with that, type of company. Three, he's brought financial stability within his family. He was one of the providers of the house. Now his parents can retire one day easily because they know, oh, yo, our kids made it. But yo, he hustled, right? Like
Straight
it's not like
hustle,
the
yeah.
group is gonna like do it, but it's like what you make out of the group. Like this is just a group that has a bunch of people that are professionals. Now it's up to you as a person to go reach out to those people and talk to them. Otherwise, it's not
Wow.
gonna you're not gonna find help. And he came out and did that. There was a bunch of other people, you know, um, who had salaries that were like 30K, 28K, and now they're making triple, quadruple that. This guy made, the IT specialist guy that I was talking about before. He
Yeah.
just changed his whole career path, bro. Like it was a completely different shift. A PM's role, a product manager's job, is completely different than a support specialist role.
100%.
So, that's what's crazy about it.
For
And then,
him.
there's people that are going in from like healthcare into tech sales, or from tech sales back into healthcare. Like that's the coolest part, is like, yo, like this group is there. I just need people to actually ask for help. That is the biggest
Exactly.
thing. We are prideful human beings. Like especially the Muslim community. It's always like, brother, I'm doing fine, alhamdulillah. No, if you're not doing fine, ask for help. There's nothing that's like anti asking for help.
You gotta take your ego out of it.
Yeah, bro. Like that's a part of being humble, is like, yo, like knowing when to ask for help. And people are here to help you. Like I I mean, like I'm not saying that I help everyone, but like, I try if someone asks me. There's people that don't ask me and I'll try, but then they'll hate me because they're like, yo, this guy is like forcing me to, do stuff that's outside my comfort zone. And
I know.
that goes back to the comfort zone thing. It's like, yo, like you're not
Yeah.
gonna see change unless you're uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable is not a bad thing. It's like being on a roller coaster. When you're sitting on the roller coaster, you're uncomfortable as hell. Yo, that seat is hard. The freaking strap is not fitting on perfectly. The freaking roller coaster is
Yeah.
going up. It's like click, 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 and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. And once it starts going, it's like, well, I can't do anything now. And then by the time you're off, you're like, oh crap, this wasn't that bad. That was actually mad fun.
I love it.
Bro, life is a freaking
It
roller
is.
coaster.
That is. It is. And that's the thing. It's like you wanna honestly, if you could do it weekly, if not monthly, get out of your comfort zone. Like do something that you've never done before. Go on the street, randomly make friends with some. If you're at a coffee shop working from home, go to a coffee shop. Go say hi to somebody randomly. Go join a meetup group. Check Eventbrite. See, connect with people. Like you just don't know who you're ever going to meet, right? And just so you know, when we're thinking about this community, like by people helping each other, especially if you work in tech, this is like more for people working tech. You get a referral bonus for somebody work getting somebody to work for your company. So, like if somebody's in need of employment and you feel like they're a good fit, and you obviously you do your job of vetting them, but you can make some good chunk of change. Some
Yeah,
companies they need to fill like for example, we need to fill an SE role, and they're giving out £6,000 to fill this rollout. So like I'm spending like some evenings literally going on LinkedIn trying to connect with people, meet people so I can vet them, so I can run them to the pipeline because sometimes this 6K could be more than some commission I make.
yeah,
So
that's $7,285 as of today, August 3rd at 1:16 for anyone who's curious. But that
there you go.
$7,200 can pay for your vacation, bro. That can pay for you and a significant other's vacation. And that's why referring people is such a good incentive. Like you need to I mean, companies need people. They're desperate for hiring people. So if you have
Yeah.
someone that's hardworking, groom them and get them hired because you're changing their life and then you're also making cash from it, right? Like not everyone's gonna be an SE, like and get 6,000 pounds or whatever. But
Yeah.
some commission places, some commission roles will be like 2,500, like that you'll get a referral bonus for.
Yep.
Um, 3,000, 500, even $500. And it's like, what did you have to do? All you did was, hey, recruiter, I have a friend that's looking. Not you don't have to say friend. You keep it agnostic. Be like, hey, I have a potential candidate that I think may be a good fit, but feel free to talk to them. Here's their resume. Here's their email. Here's their phone number. Let me know if you want to make let me know if you want me to make an introduction. Best, and then write your name, right? So,
Yeah.
and
It's
that's
like you
it.
don't need to like don't think that it's going to ruin your reputation.
Yeah, it's not, man.
It's not. Nobody gives a shit.
Bro, I referred random people off of LinkedIn for my last gig at Attentive, and I made more off of referrals than I did for my bonus for the year.
There
So
you go.
like I
There
all
you
I
go.
did was refer people, bro. And now those kids are also like, yo, referring other people because they're like, damn, my life was changed. Like I'm telling you, they were not making that much. They were making like 40, 50K. And I was like, bro, but you work 100K job. No one's gonna change their salaries until the market has said, yo, like those jobs are out there and people want those jobs instead of the jobs that they're working. No one's going to
Yeah.
change how they pay their employees. That's just how
Yeah.
economics works, right? If there's a supply that's meeting the demand for those, let's say, local town jobs, right? Like, Long Island, for example, where, an MBA grad is going to make 60K and that person's okay with it, then yeah, hell yeah, the employer is going to pay you 60K if you said okay. But if you say no and you find offers elsewhere, there's remote jobs everywhere now. So if you're struggling finding a remote job, literally just search up remote jobs or remotejobs.com or something, or go on LinkedIn. There's so many resources out there. And we'll post some. We'll add some links and stuff to this when we publish this video. But yo, they're out there. And
There's too many. Honestly, it's
yeah,
like when we think about a recession, I feel like there's no excuse. Like I for my last job, I used this tool called hunter.io to figure out people's like emails, phone numbers. I think there's like Lusha as well. Literally use those, cold call people. People love that. People want to hire hustlers. Use
yeah,
that to your advantage, right? Call them and say, "Hey, sorry if I caught you at the wrong time. Love to work with you. I know this may be a bad time. Can we talk tomorrow, 10 a.m.?" And you have no reason. You have nothing to lose here.
yeah,
So
yeah. You could be, look, that's the biggest thing. And I hear this excuse from everyone, but it's always this: I'm smarter than that kid. How the hell did he get that job or she got that job? It's because they just hustled, bro. They wanted it more than you. You
yeah,
didn't want it. That's all it is at the end of the day. No job is
100%.
hard, bro. You learn majority of the stuff you need for a job, except for like engineering or being a doctor or blah blah blah. You obviously need some background recs, but like for most jobs, right? You'll learn it there. And
Yeah,
at that point, all that employer wants from you is like a hustler. And by hustler, it's not scamming. It's literally like you being like, I want to work here loudly, loud and proud. I want to work here. Here's my resume. I know you're the hiring manager. Talk to me, please. I just need 5 seconds of your time. Literally 5 seconds. I will impress you. That's all
yeah,
and if you do that, honestly, you will get a job. Like, you might not get employed by the first person, but you'll get employed by the third or fourth, bro. I mean, it's just like arranged marriages. You don't just pop off with the first one, right? You be
yeah. Keep throwing the darts.
yeah, bro. Like you throw out as many darts as possible until one hits a bullseye. That same thing with relationships. It's all
Yeah,
it's all the same. It all comes down to relationships, I've noticed. It's like you can make any freaking analogy to relationships and basketball.
yeah.
I didn't do any basketball analogies, and I
I'm
always do.
surprised you didn't
Next
actually.
episode we will, I got you.
Yeah,
But
all about that ball.
But
Ball
yo,
is life, baby.
ball is life, bro. But like you gotta take the shot. That's it. You gotta take the shot. If you got the ball in your hand, just take the shot. I threw the analogy out there. Just take it, bro.
Yeah, you gotta
So
shoot your shot.
exactly.
Hashtag shoot your shot.
Hashtag shoot your shot. Maybe that's a podcast name. I don't know.
Probably is.
um, all right. Well, I got meetings coming up, but had a really awesome conversation with you. Hopefully, people find this thing useful.
I think they will. I think we slice and dice a little bit of the tidbits and throw it on TikTok. I think we threw out a lot of good value in this episode.
Yeah, for
But this
sure.
is just the start, guys. We're gonna come with some banger episodes, big topics, some taboo, a lot about some business, startups, anything pretty much what me and Zoe decide what we like. So we'll produce it.
Yes, for sure. All right. Well, thanks for watching. We're probably gonna upload this on YouTube first and then, do everything after that. And yeah, comment, like, subscribe, ask questions. And yeah, we're gonna have to bleep out a lot of these curses, man.
I know.
All right, see you guys.
All right, see you guys.